Hey guys, welcome to Marimba with MK. Today's video is about my top tips for the grade 8 Abrsm exam, which I've recently sat. So my first top tip is to know the syllabus and pick pieces you like. If you try out all the pieces, pick the piece you like, and then really get behind it, put your emotion and expression into it, I feel like that's the best way to do the exam. And also read the syllabus carefully, because for the percussion exam, the minor scales, you only need to know either the harmonic or the melodic, which made it really easy when it came to me practicing, because I just did the harmonic minors and it's the same up and down, so it just made my life when practicing a lot easier. My second top tip is to practice effectively. So what I mean is kind of find your way of practicing. So for me, I started off with scales as like a warm-up, did all my performance pieces, and then did the orals, the sight reading, finished with scales, because scales was something I really needed to work on. So doing that twice a day or twice a practice made it easier for it to stick in my head. And also when you practice in like concentrated time zones, if that makes sense. So like practice an hour hardcore just practice and then have a break and then kind of repeat that. By doing that, it makes it a lot easier than doing 5 hours of dragged out practice, because I've tried that, it doesn't work. Yeah, practice in chunks is like the best way to do it, and it helps everything sink in. So when you practice something new, it sinks in a lot easier if you take breaks as well. And then that kind of leads me on to my next tip, which is to practice in sections. So instead of practicing the whole piece every time, practice sections of the piece that either you find yourself tripping up on or you find difficult, and that will just make the whole performance overall a lot cleaner and more seamless, which it should be. And then alongside that, analyze your performances. So when you do perform your piece, think, oh, which sections of that weren't quite right, or which sections did I struggle with? And again, having that self-awareness will come really useful in the exam. My fourth tip is work on the weak instrument, not on the instrument you prefer. So for me, I did the marimba and snare drum, and I preferred playing the marimba. I enjoy it more. So whenever it came to practice, I did always start off with marimba and then realise, oh, I need to actually practice on the snare drum, because that's what I need to improve the most. And a lot of people that I've spoken to do this too, especially with like schoolwork and stuff. They always practice the stuff they enjoy more. So just being conscious of that is useful. My fifth tip is use a metronome. I find them annoying, but they are really useful. They help keep rhythm, help make sure that your pulse is in time with the time signature, and yeah, overall they are really useful. So my sixth tip is don't forget about the orals. So think of the orals as extra points. I hate the orals, no one really likes them. They're quite hard at grade 8 as well. But yeah, think of them as extra marks. If you don't do as well on it, don't worry, they're only 18 marks. Because your other sections will most likely be stronger anyway, because you can properly practice that. But yeah, do practice your orals, you do get better, and especially with the cadences and the modulations, you start picking up patterns and noticing the differences more, which obviously will then help in the exam. My seventh tip is know your pieces. By this I kind of mean, when you aren't playing a piece, if you can sing it in your head, you know you've got a good grasp of the piece already. You know which direction you're taking the sections in, and by mapping it out in your head means that you do have a good grasp on it. And then from there you can start working on the more tiny things like dynamics, expression, and yeah, that just, for me, that reassured me that I knew the piece if I could do it in my head. And then if you're a bit shy, my eighth tip, even if you're not shy, is to get an audience or record yourself performing in front of a camera, because that is pretty much as close as you're going to get as having an examiner sitting in front of you. And you can get feedback. So if it's people, you can get feedback on how, if you seemed confident, if you didn't seem confident, if there were sections where you didn't really look like you knew what you were doing. And if you record it, that's even better in some ways, because you can listen back to it as well and see what you think as a performer yourself. And also, when you're nervous and in an exam kind of mindset, you do panic and you do try and speed things up. So by having an audience or a camera, you can practice slowing down your performance, and when you slow it down under the stress, it's actually the speed you play at normally, which is good, because you don't want to start speeding things up, because that's when you trip up and make errors that you don't want to make. So practice playing it slower and in front of a camera or an audience. It just helps you get in the right mindset as well. You feel calmer when you get into the exam. Okay, so my 9th point is to be confident. Even if you turn up to the exam and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing here, you know, I've made a massive mistake, I'm not ready, forget it. Just be calm as you can, and pretend to be confident. Especially with, for me, the sight reading bit was a mess, but I just worked my way through it. Pretend to be confident, pretend to know what you're doing. And that might subconsciously make you feel better, maybe a bit more confident, but the examiner will look at you and think, oh, she kind of knows what she's doing, she looks like she knows what she's doing. And then that confidence might, I don't know, help just bring out a persona of, this person is ready for this exam, they're here for a reason. It's hard, but just try it, try and be confident. And then my 10th point, my final point, is try your best. That is all you can do. You've prepared all the way up until the exam. You wouldn't have entered yourself into the exam unless you thought you were ready, your tutor thought you were ready. Just do it. And the way Abrsm mark it means that when you walk into that exam hall, you've pretty much passed already. They mark from pass up and down. So you've walked in with a pass. What you do next is up to you. The examiner will always try and be on your side. And yeah, remember, you've prepared for this for a long time, and everything you've been doing is up, like, has built up to this moment, and just do it. Worst thing that can happen is that you fail and you have to redo it. But if you do fail, know that you tried your best. It is a hard exam. Many people don't pass it first time, but by learning from your experience, by picking yourself up and retrying, is actually a lot harder than doing the exam first time and passing. So yeah, try your best. So that's it, my 10 top tips for Abrsm Grade 8 exam. I hope you found it useful. I know I would have found a video like this useful because I couldn't find anything. And let me know what you think. Subscribe, like and comment below. Thank you.